Willkommen, Hoinan, and welcome back to FTR's Division 2. This is Season 8 and time for Round 4. We're going to go to the Circuit of the Americas at Austin, Texas. My name is Webbo, here to take you through tonight's race. Thank you for whoever stood in for me last week. My apologies that I couldn't be here due to work commitments, but I'm back. I'm back and ready to roll with the fantastic drivers from Division 2. Let me take you through the current standings with Umar Osman on top on 73 points from Martin, who's climbed his way back up to second on 57. Next comes Avalak, the league and session owner and host, on 48 points in third place. Then is Buntjes on 41. Strong showing from Buntjes, obviously in the previous race, managing to move up from 9th position. Then comes Pantry Star, 02 Cool, Nick Gishan, Chums, Super D and Uzi, who is Umer's brother. So the two brothers racing for McLaren. Then everyone else has scored points down to, with the exception of 18th place Jacques Slater, who will be racing tonight. One of 15 who've joined qualifying, so we will wait and see if Jacques manages to get his first points on the board, and we hope that he does. Of course, we want to see everybody collecting points all the way through. We've got constructors standings. Remember, this is a combined constructor standings between Division 1, the Premier Division, and Division 2. I don't want to disparage the divisions by using the wrong terminologies. We've got one of the Alfa Romeos, or both the Alfa Romeos are out already on the back straight. Red Bull Racing lead the championship with a convincing lead on 241 points, ahead of Mercedes on 155. Haas have 131, McLaren 125, and Scuderia Ferrari in 5th place on 108 points. Every other team has scored. We have one team who haven't picked up anything at all or participated. I think that's Alpine. So no Alpines racing for FTRF1. I wonder what they did to upset Avalak with the allocations, or maybe just no one wanted to drive that car, perhaps with the sound issues that they've had. Good evening and welcome to Sublime Film and to Paris Ninja, who have already stopped by to say hello. Always good to have that order of business done and dusted. Make sure that if you are watching with us, you say hello, you tell us who you're here to support, which team, which drivers, what you're seeing on screen and enjoying, and most importantly for Q1, who, if anyone, we will lose at the end of this session, as Jacques heads up the hill towards what I'm hearing being referred to as Big Red, the left-hander of turn 1, pointing directly at the sky. And then we're going to crest the famous corner of turn 3, where you see the Texas flag this weekend. And you get the iconic pictures of the car just cresting over a beautiful circuit here through the S's. Very difficult as the S's get ever tighter. I think they could do is a little bit reminiscent of the Corniche circuit first sector, as well as Maggots and Beckett, which is often quoted. Down then we go into the wide entry turn 11. If there wasn't a DRS detection zone on the entry to turn 11, I think we'd see far more attempts at overtakes. But as there is, driver behind will usually try and not draw further than level with the car in front to get across here. Then down the long straight, this is the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit. You can see the sun blazing away, shining off the circuit. And now into turn 13, long right-hander at a very slow speed. Look out for the turn 15 left-hander here. If someone leaves the door open, there is a very easy move to dive at the inside through turn 13, through turn 15, 16, 17, 18, the triple right-hander reminiscent of Sochi and Turkey. Turn 8, now into the penultimate corner, blind apex blind exit, and then we have the blind exit of the final corner, now known as Andretti, before opening the DRS, and across the line, Jacques posting the first time for us, and that is going to be a 1:38.571. His teammate Arno has managed to invalidate, unfortunately will not set a time here. A curiosity that Pampern managed to feed me information last week was that when the last time he and who was it now, we're in the, let me get this straight, the last time he and he and Umer were in the same team, Haas. They came last in the championship in season 7. Now they're currently both leading Division 2 and 3. So that's pretty awesome to see. Umer has been the revelation of the season so far, but that early lap won't be making him smile too much, as Top Gun goes fastest to 35.785, and that's very good to see from Top Gun. Nice new improvement there. 0-2 call coming through the final 2 corners now. We've got the other Ferrari about to start his lap, and good evening to Gerhard Botta and to AP Marg as well. Love for Red Bull from Gerhard. We've got 0-2 Cool posting a bit of a slow time there, I think just warming up the car, as Umer stays now 5th as Pantry Star goes fastest, 34.8. Very large variance in times here with the drivers on their first laps. Very unusual to see such large variance on those timings. I wonder what Arno is up to. Has he managed to keep this lap alive? Yes, he has. The drivers are definitely going to have problems in the approach to turn 12 and the approach to turn 20, that both face in the same direction for the sun in their eyes. It's obviously an evening setting sun, and Arno gets himself into 4th place, 1 place above his teammate, but 2 seconds faster. So there's plenty to do for the lower order drivers at the moment. I think they've gone for warm-up laps. Doesn't look like Super D is pushing particularly hard on this lap either. Let's see if we can't find ourselves a driver who's actually pushing. That's what it's all about. What about Umer? He's going into the pits as well. Unusual. So things not running exactly to plan out there. I think we've got, is that Martin? Is he? No, he's waiting in the pits. No sign from Martin. No, not unusual for Martin. He does like to let everybody else clean the track up for him. Trying to find you a driver who might actually be pushing. Maybe Nick is. Yeah, he's 12 seconds quicker than his first lap, which was a 47.9. So he's on a good target to move up into that top 5 positions on the grid. It's that wicked sun. I hope the drivers are all using the T-cam, because in the cockpit that was going to be awful. Nick Gishen then for Red Bull, popular for our viewers, especially Gerhard Botta. Nick Gishen at 34.683, and Hamza's here to cheer on Umer. I think Hamza's cheering on both McLarens, but Umer more than, I think, his brother, who hasn't joined us for qualifying just yet. Umer has retired from the session. Fancies a bit of a roll in the dice here to see out the session. I don't know if they're all assuming that we will all 15 drivers go through to the final part of through to Q2. I wouldn't always make that assumption. It's not always guaranteed for the way the game likes to book that. Well, Royal Viking managed to invalidate his previous lap, but he's going to go for a lap here. It looks like we might have a little bit of slipstreaming going on, but only on an outlap for Avalak, with some cooperation there from Nick Gishen. So we'll stay on board the Aston Martin of Royal Viking and see how this lap goes. I'm waiting to get an update. 9 minutes to go in the session. I don't know if everyone will follow Umer and decide to post a fast enough time and then retire. But Umer could be at risk if everybody manages to set a representative time. AP Marg also going for Umer, yeah. And Puna says Super D or a Ferrari to win. Excellent stuff. Okay, so Super D or 0-2 Cool are Puna's targets here. Royal Viking, you heard the beep for the DRS being opened. Shake saying he might be a bit late tonight. I'm not sure if it's still permitted to join during qualifying or not. I think that does contribute to people being randomly kicked from the lobby. Royal Viking is slowing now. Not happy with that lap either. So lots of pressure on Royal Viking. This is Avalak. Sun in his eyes on the long run down the back straight. the other races I've seen so far this week, we've seen aggressive tyre wear characteristics, temperatures really affecting the tyre wear to a greater extent than drivers were anticipating. Can bring a two-stop into play if they decide to use the soft tyres. Otherwise, it's a careful tiptoeing around on the mediums and hards to finish the race comfortably. Here's Avalak then leading a small margin to the track limits. And heading to the line then from 13, gets an all Red Bull front row of 34.758. Just 1/10, less than a tenth behind his teammate Nick. And Martin has decided to show up, and let's see, as he's about to head down the long back straight, completed the twisty first sector. Now he's got the power dominant middle sector to do. Setup is a big deal here, running through the S's, running through some of the higher speed corners with trimmed out wings for the top speed down the back straight can mean that you can lose grip during the race. So a delicate balancing act for setup, the bumps and undulations and the curb usage that's required also creates a very interesting suspension geometry challenge for everybody. Super D's retired from the session, so has 02. They're all gambling on us having 15 cars going through. As Martin goes fastest at 33.9, that's significantly quicker from Martin, just benefiting from the other drivers having run their hot laps before him on the track, just to clean up the track surface from the worst of the detritus that settles, the dust and everything else that settles on the track in between Grand Prix. And now he's just gently bringing the car into the pits. So currently, with 5.5 minutes to go, it's Martin, Nick, Avalak, Pantry Star, Top Gun, who retires now, there and then. Jacques is coming out to do a lap right about now. Pantry Star, no improvement that time, as I think Chums is currently bidding to get a better lap out there. So Jacques on a lap, possibly Pantry Star as well. Evening to Mr. M, if I haven't already said it. Evening to Kuna. And anybody else out there who I haven't given a shout out to yet. Remember, please, to subscribe to the channel. 3 divisions of racing now this season, as well as you can subscribe to my output. Best places on Twitter, @WebORed5, where you can see the times that I go live. But also give us a like on the video today as well, if you're feeling generous. It's a very small way of saying thank you, but make sure that the video gets noticed and features in people's search and homepage. So Chums then, with his teammate in front of him, he's actually a fraction slower than he's been before through the first 2 sectors. So not really on for a particularly special time. Jack has invalidated this fast lap and is waiting then to, that was him that was just passed. He's waiting to start another lap. Royal Viking yet to register a time. He has some work to do, because if the game decides to invalidate anyone, it will certainly be the rearmost scoring driver so far. There goes Chums on a half-second slower time than he's been before. Doesn't look like Royal Viking is going to come out and play for another lap, unless he's going to leave it really, really late. Long laps though here at CotA. And flat out until turn 5. Threading the needle through the S's. Just like in turn 1, turn 11 is such a wide entry, you basically can't see the apex when you're braking and just guess when your turning point should be. Bravely sticking the car in, keeping it in second gear, coming out of turn 13. And the lap almost complete then for Jacques. He's gone into the pits, of course he has. I mean, not too unhappy with 8th place. Just under 2 minutes to run then in the session. We've got everybody in the pits except those who have already retired. Is everyone going to try and retire for me? Or are they leaving it super late? They've really got to get out right this moment before we get underway. No, the retirements are coming in. So it looks like we've got our order for Q1 sorted. 5 drivers to make up their mind. There's no point coming out now. You're not going to start the next lap before the checkered flag has fallen. So my apologies, not much to say when they do this to us. AP Mark says, where is Usman's brother tonight? I'm afraid, Umair's brother tonight. I'm afraid I don't know. Haven't heard anything. I'll check attendance, but I'm assuming that he didn't commit to racing tonight. A fairly small amount of drivers who did commit. Brad and Bert's both said they wouldn't drive. Uzi left a candle. I don't know what candle means. Does that mean I'm waiting? Yeah, Perna. Uzi is Osman's, is Umair's brother, Uzi, in the McLaren. Still waiting on our guys. Ah, okay, AP Mark says candle equals load shedding. Excellent. All right, well, yes, that's unlikely to be the case for Uzi tonight, isn't it? As being brothers with Umair. So, the game is telling me that no one has been invalidated through Q1, so you might ask a question why we bothered. I'm not entirely sure. Martin gets the first fastest time on the board tonight on a 33.974, 7/10 faster than Nick and nearly 8/10 from Avalac. Then comes Pantry Star, Top Gun, Arno, Chums, Jacques, Umair down in 9th. Bit of a surprise that session for Umair, but maybe he just doesn't want to show how quickly he is able to go. 0-2 Cool in 10th. 11th is Super D and Royal Viking at the back with no time. So really 10th, 11th and 12th didn't really set their times representatively at all in that session. So we'll see who we manage to get times on the board for this time. Joshua Lee says, let's go Ferrari. Good evening, Joshua. Good to have you back with us. And we have got 12 drivers who went through to Q2. I swear it said 15, but was that just Royal Viking who was marked as 15th? I think it was. So, but he's still here. Okay, I don't understand. We've got 12 drivers in Q2, so we should lose 2 of those drivers in this session, and that's the drivers at risk will be the ones that I try to focus on in this session, as you should be well used to by now. And the outlap's beginning already. This time Arno is the first of the drivers out there. Yeah, AP Mark saying Codemasters can't count from 1 to 15. It does appear that way, doesn't it? In fairness, AP Mark, they're not called counting masters, so there. Umair behind him on the circuit, and then one of the Ferraris, looks like 0-2. All the way down the back straight. Nice healthy gaps between the drivers there. That'll be very useful for them, unless they're looking for a tow. It might be difficult to coordinate too well. So soft tyres on the Alfa Romeo, as you expect through the entirety of qualifying. Bit of a shame that they've taken that element of qualifying away from us. But with just over 12 and a half minutes to run, Arno starts his first flying lap with Umair behind him on the circuit. Trying to find that apex of turn 1. A little distant from it, but should have kept the minimum speed pretty high. Through turns 2 and 3 and 4 before finally touching the brakes, into turn 5. Nicely off throttle as we skip across the apex. If you go across those apexes on throttle, you usually unsettle the car. All the way down to turn 11, braking just about the 60-metre board, and that was a perfect apex this time from Arno. Turn 12. Not looking good so far from Arno. Maybe the car getting away from him slightly on the acceleration point out of turn 13. But so far so good. At the apex of the second part of the triple right-hander. Risking things over the sausage curve through turn 19, and then just out of Andretti. All the hard work done now. DRS open 1:35.283 is a handy old time there for Arno. Let's see what Umair can do in response. Straight faster, 34.515 from Umair. Very, very nice indeed. We know that 0 was next on the track, but he is slowing and not going to complete this lap in a timed environment. So we've got Avalak then for Red Bull. He was there or thereabouts as Nick gets a 33.9, the fastest time through the first runs. We may get 3 runs out of the drivers. Oh, but Avalak with an invalidation, just getting a little bit greedy over the turn 7 left-hander. Unfortunately, that one's not worked out for him. About to cross the line then. We've got Super D. He's just started his next lap. I'll keep an eye on our times as Top Gun gets a 57.2. So he registered as a time, but only 4th place and a very slow lap from Top Gun. Pantry Star in there in P3 now. Arno's down to 4th. Chum's in 5th. McLaren fans well represented tonight, cheering on Umair. I hope those McLaren fans and not just glory hunters. So we've got Arno heading into the pits. Here he is. Coming around now to head into the pits as Super D closing out this second sector. Pretty risky amount of apex there. 1:03.720 for Super D through this one. Short shifting out of turn 15. Now we're into the triple. Smoothly done through 19. Through Andretti then to finish the lap out. Across the line, it's a 34.743. Not Not a particularly special time, but it would have been good in the previous session for sure. As Royal Viking is on his first hot lap. He'll be hoping to actually register a time this time, not just sail through qualifying elimination by default as he did in the previous session. Like it was suboptimal through the final corner, but he's still got a 35.5 and posts the car into provisional P8 right now. Is Avalak pushing on this lap? I think he is, through the first sector, looking good, the second sector looking better, but unfortunately that's a spinala for Avalak. I think he'll try and complete the lap at the moment. As we've got Martin, is he on a hot lap? I don't think so. No, on his way into the pits. Top Gun will be trying to make this one work at the moment then. Give him an update on his lap as he crosses the line here. And that is slow up by a quarter of a second across the second sector for Top Gun, but I think what he lost before, he lost all in the final sector by the looks of things. I would estimate about a half of Q2 remaining. Top Gun comes into the pits to get the car turned round and head out onto the track again. We know Arno was the first driver. Oh, that might be frowned upon from his fellow riders who are his fellow drivers, taking out the marker board there. Although it shouldn't be any surprises for everybody that the pit lane speed limit comes at that line. Let's go back to Arno. Let's see what he's doing. We've got Royal Viking crossing the line. Is he into the pit lane, sorry. And then Arno will start his next lap. P7 at the moment. Good on him, here's teammate Jack out on track as well, who comes in. So it's pantry start, Avalak on out laps, but the only hot lap going on right now is Arno, down in P7. Avalak, Top Gun, very much at risk here. We'll have really one run to go. Avalak just coming out with enough time to do a back-to-back if he has a problem. I just need to keep his eye on his mirrors or his track map to make sure he gets out of the way of Arno, who's on a hot one here. Avalak just peeling off to the left-hand side there. Very sporting before the braking zone, making his intentions very clear to the driver following. So which two drivers do we think, who among the audience at the moment, who's going to be eliminated in this one? Let's have your predictions for that in, please. As Arno misses the apex slightly in 12, but gets a purple middle sector and just over eggs that apex. I don't think there's much of the lap left to recover the energy for a back-to-back attempt. Bad news then for Arno on this one, as Avalak should now be able to get the car up to temperature after moving aside there for Arno on the previous sector. Tiago says, where are my AlphaTauri boys? They're on strike tonight, I don't know why. Nick Gishen has retired from the lead of this session, 33.9, the fastest lap we've seen so far, and Avalak will start his next attempt. I would say final attempt, but if it goes wrong he can run another one. He might well be fueled up to that point. Away from the apex then through turn 1, there is 4 minutes remaining of the session before the checkered flag falls. Really important for Avalak to not get too greedy. There's a nice big window between P9 and 10 to sit the car in with a nice conservative lap and still get through provisionally. So you don't want to be trying to get the fastest time at this point with all the pressure on. something to do down this corner. Stare at the setting sun, that's for sure. Find your braking zone. Perhaps a slight under rotation, maybe a hint of understeer through turn 12, but a purple middle sector for Avalak. Through we go then. 2 corners to go, and there's that crucial invalidation at far too late in the day to really do anything about it. I hope he's got enough fuel on. That is heartbreaking for Avalak. Not what he wanted at all. Top Gun is also at risk here. Again, he just needs that final sector. We saw this before with him. It was the final sector that has undone both of the previous 2 attempts. So let's see if Top Gun can get himself clear and away into the top 10 now. You can see him leaving a small margin to the track limits. Oh wow! Bumps over the sausage curves on the exit. A 9-second improvement, stays 11th. Yeah, not working brilliantly so far for Top Gun. He's got quite a bit of energy left though. That yellow line on his steering wheel indicating that he's got some energy left to fight with. So I think this might be the proper attempt happening right about now. But it's now or never for Top Gun. Briefly showed the top time during the previous session. It is a very tricky circuit here. A bit of oversteer perhaps. More direction change than he was hoping for through turn 11. That might indicate just being under speed slightly. Let's see if it's 4th time's a charm for Top Gun. Try and finish out this lap. No! Oh, that went wide. He's going to have to finish the lap, you fancy. Surely he's going to need to finish this lap. 42 seconds on the clock. And he goes to the line. Top Gun gets into P10, just scrapes it. And now it's Jacques' turn to retaliate, as he was just pipped to 10th place there. With, say, 30 seconds to go now. With it all to do, Jacques, to stay in the session. Is Avalak on a lap? He is. We'll flick between Jacques and Avalak. And across the first sector was Jacques Avalak. He's gone across the first sector too, but haven't had an update on the times, unfortunately. Avalak may get a toe off the back of the McLaren. That would help him out. McLaren of Umer in P6, showing very lackluster at the moment, as he's been bossing the season so far, Umer. This could be a bit of a bogey track for the driver though, as Jacques is going fractionally quicker, but he needs a second and a half faster than he's gone before to get back into that top 10 position. Some retirements coming in now just to free up the track for the rest of the drivers. Jacques then, just a couple of corners left to go for Jacques. That looked promising through turn 19. Opens the DRS, across the line for Jacques. It was an improvement. Umer goes fastest, Avalak gets 7th as Top Gun and Jacques are demoted. Top Gun, well, he's certainly not going any faster doing that kind of thing. So we have our top 10 for Q3. It will be Umer on top, 33.6 from Nick Gishen's 33.9. Super D, Pantry Star, Martin, 0-2. Then Avalak, Arno, Royal Viking and Chums will contest the final session of qualifying with Top Gun and Jack eliminated on this one and sitting out Q3, but that we'll have them back come the race time. I will be away for just a minute or two, and I'll be back very soon. Thank you very much. Don't go away. Okay, back with Webbo, and time to get stuck into Q3. Let's find out how fast the fastest drivers can go so far tonight. Remember, we've got a 50% race coming up as well for you. This is round 4 of Season 8 in Division 2. Good evening to Riyadh. You still haven't told me whether I should be saying Riyadh or Riyadh. But good evening, and welcome to you. Welcome to anybody I haven't yet given a shout out to. Let's get ready to see how these guys can tackle the fastest conditions we've had so far tonight on the setting sun of Austin. So with 10 minutes to go, Arno's the first guy out there again. I hope it won't do him any disservice just to actually change which driver we watch. I'm going to watch with Umair because he put in the fastest time in the previous session, and I usually like to give the first lap to the first guy out of the pits, but he's had 2 of them already tonight. So shaping up and getting ready for tackling this tricky lap is Umair. Let's see, will this be the potential pole position, provisional pole of the first runs? Takes us to less than 10 minutes to go then. Nice and smooth steering input so far. It gets a little bit more direct as the speed increases. Looking pretty good so far then for Umair. Tidy first sector. slightly away from turn 11. It's all about your exit speed. The best amount of time, the largest amount of time spent at full throttle down the straight will buy you a mile an hour or more. Fairly early braking into turn 12 for Umer. Obviously a purple sector, but that's just versus his own time of 0 at the moment. Through into turn 15 then, and then the triple right-hander. Like a nice healthy line. You get 2 apexes through there, then tiny little dip, risky run across the orange curb through 19, then out of Andretti. Just keep the car away from those yellow curves, and a 33.9 for Umer is the best time so far. Naturally, we got Martin, who's usually up there, isn't he? Challenging for the front row. Martin then to the line, and it's faster still. It's a 33.6 for Martin versus Umer's 33.9.02, and Arno have put in subsequent times. We've got Nick. Let's see how Nick is doing. He's got his teammate on track up in front of him, but only on an outlap. Upshifts, I think we're slowing here. Nick, I don't think he's happy with this lap. I think he'll be going for a stronger run next time through. Super D has invalidated, unfortunately. We've got Chums in 5th, Arno in 6th. And then Avalak, Royal Viking, Nick and Super D yet to set their times. And I think that it will be Avalak. Nick set a 46.9, so it was a slow lap that time. Let's check out Avalak then, through the S's. Good time so far from Avalak. Nick is less than a 10th away from his fastest first sector, which was quick. I think things came undone through the second and third sectors though for Nick previously. 33.6 what the drivers are aiming at, but we have got 3 drivers under the 34 marker, and Nick getting a little bit crossed up on the way out of turn 11. Isn't going to do himself any favours there. Not a lot of time to play with in Q3. Really got to get on with it. And we've got a new Osman, Kamala. So Kamala, what relation, Osman, are you to Umer and Uzi? And most importantly, what everybody needs to know is, where's Uzi tonight? Single McLaren is the only one on the field tonight so far. That looked very nice through 19 for Nick. Nice wide entry, meant he could carry a lot of speed through the apex. Avalak went 5th, 34.7. Nick goes 4th for 33.9. I think there's more to come. Even so, Super D, the last time to set on the first runs. 5 minutes 25 to go in the session. Kamala is the younger cousin of Umer. Brilliant. Excellent stuff. So everyone joining in. Super D, what a time from Super D in the Ferrari. A 33.685. He hasn't really featured at the top of the time so far. And fantastic. And hello to Mr. Osman, the father of the 2 drivers. I don't know if Fahim, if you are going to be engineering for Umer tonight. So I'll have to keep the telemetry off the screen, because it does give the game away a little bit when drivers have got engineers around. So great time from Super D. Honestly, that one caught me by surprise. Arno's back out first again. Determined is Arno to get himself plenty of screen time. Bunyas has joined, so we may have an extra driver. I haven't seen Shakes yet. Shout out in the chat if you have seen Shakes turn up. We know that we're not expecting Brad because of and a couple of drivers due to load shedding, but we are expecting Shakes possibly. Although honestly, I'm a little bit worried because I do tend to get kicked when drivers show up during qualifying, and then I can't get myself back in again because everyone I'm connected with is already racing. Fahim says he doesn't ever engineer unless Umair is able to read messages while driving. Well, that's safe enough then. I think we're safe then, Fahim. Thank you. So Arno in 10th place. So can any of the Osman fans or family tell us where Uzi is? Is he on the naughty step? Has he got something else pulling his time away? But we hope to see Uzi again soon. Have a full complement of McLaren and a full complement of Osmans on the track, as well as in the live chat with us as well. And Typo says, yeah, Umair fans fill in the grandstands. Absolutely, full complement. So Arno then about to start his next flyer. Let's join him online. Royal Viking Chums and Pantry Star in 3rd are all out on their outlaps as well. The top drivers though, 6 of the top 7 keeping their powder dry. You'll see them come out shortly, I would imagine, with 2 minutes to go. Arno is, well, apparently level with his first lap across the first sector. Obviously hitting his ceiling through sector 1. Beautiful apex of 11. Nice smooth throttle application as well. This car does very much suit a yellow and black helmet, I think. Fahim says Uzi has load shedding. Oh dear. Right, okay. So 12 seconds quicker for Arno this time. Much more like it. Let's have a check-in on Pantry Star. Where is he? He's only just starting his lap, so we can afford to watch Arno's lap finish up. 57.4 is his best so far. I'm sure he's got better time underneath him. As the outlap start for everybody now. Who's your money on tonight? Martin, Umair, Nick. Oh, Arno ruins the lap, unfortunately. And he's ruins the next one as well, and he hasn't got time to go round again. I think that would be a swift retirement from Arno. What a way to finish up. That is a huge shame for the Alfa Romeo driver, who has been incredibly punctual starting his runs tonight. He's been first out of the pits every time. Let's join Pantry Star then. No update on his first sector, but his second sector is coming up for us. We've got Martin, who it's reading here has started his fast lap, which must have been very quick. Pantry Star is faster than he's been before. I'm not buying that from Martin. I think we'll stick with Pantry Star and then switch over to Martin. Martin's starting his next lap right now, in my estimation at least. 33.6, the fastest time, which has been matched to within a tenth by Super D. Pantry Star looking for an improvement here. Needs a little bit more in sector 3, and it's up to provisional pole. What a final sector, 4/10 faster, 33.496 for Pantry Star. Terrific final sector there, and an improvement for Martin as well. Super D comes across the sector, and he is not improving at this stage. What about Umair? Let's see him across sector 1, shall we, while Martin is closing out to the 10.11. Here is Umair now, and it's 003 over his fast time so far. It looks like Martin the most likely man to improve after the sector 1s are complete. Pantry Star holding provisional pole there, 33.496, looking like oversteer from Martin, needed to be off throttle across the apex, and Martin has picked up yet more time and absolutely dancing on the edge of what's allowed here. Super D has gained further, unfortunately for him. Let's see Umair come towards the end of this one. I need to check in with Nick as well. Where is Nick? Oh, Nick's almost going to finish the lap out. Nearly 3/10 to the good here. Nick from a 33.9 in 5th place. Manages to stay stable and make no major improvement. Here comes Martin then, bidding for pole, 33.253. New fastest time. Super D following behind. Can he regain that front row? No improvement for Super D. Umer has had a good third sector though. One more corner for Umer to close out this qualifying, and another oversteer moment on the way out. He gets up to P3, gets the clean side of the grid at 33.5, but nobody worrying Martin and Pantry Star's front row at this stage. I think that's everybody finished themselves up as Pantry Star comes into the pits. And it's Martin on pole with a 33.253, and that was a very, very good and hard-fought qualifying 3. Final part of qualifying session there, and I think that's where we will end things in this session. As soon as the drivers retire, we've got Martin on pole, not for the first time in Division 2, but hopefully he'll have a nice consistent race as well and try to keep himself a factor in this championship for season 8. Let me go back through the standings for you then. I know it's been a while since I talked standings. Driver at least. You do have Umer on top with 73. Martin is in second with 57. Avalak in third with 48. And Bunya's in fourth with 41 points. I'll go back to my driver chat for the race, but then we have Martin on top from Pantry Star, an unusual driver, you'd say. Pantry Star on the front row. Umer Osman in third place then. Super D and Nick have both been very quick tonight. Avalak with a respectable time in Q3 finally, and then we've got 0-2 Royal Viking. Chums Arno didn't manage to complete a very representative lap, but a nice split grid. Red Bull's right in the middle, who are currently leading the combined constructors. So good to see different drivers up there. And Typo says, let's go. That was immense from Martin. It absolutely was. Martin pulling it out of the bag right at the death of the session. And we are ready to race now. Half distance race around CotA. That's been pretty much all I've commentated on and been watching in the last 5 days, 5 or 6 days here, races around CotA. Everyone decided to co-locate their league races with the official Grand Prix. So I'll be looking forward to a break, I should say, from CotA. Sharp shadows, setting sun still here. So looks like we're on for a dry start at least, and the countdown has begun for our race. Let's have your podium predictions, if you will, please, before the lights go out, and then you get extra kudos and credit if you get it correct. Make sure you've liked the video tonight as well, and have subscribed to the channel, following myself at WebORed5 if you so wish. So we'll get ready very quickly. So it's time for the formation lap, and Martin will lead the cars away. Let's get a look at the tyre decision. Medium tyres across the board. We're just Chums and Jacques deciding to flip the script slightly. Chums gone for the conventional alternate strategy with the hard tyre, and Jacques has gone for soft tyres. So we'll almost certainly be two-stopping this one unless he can get some extraordinary life out of the softs and hards, or we end up with a safety car messing up everybody's strategy. But Jacques rolling the dice in P11. Chums could be a strong possibility here, starting on those hard tyres, if he can just hold his position for the first couple of laps. But Bunya's will join us in the McLaren, so reserving in the McLaren, keeping Uzi's seat warm here. Bunya's, I think the game probably just gave him that car as he started late with us. Then we've got Royal Viking at the back, the lone Aston Martin. No Alpha Tauris, no Alpines, of course. Then we've got Jacques in 11th, his teammate Arno starting 9th position. Remember, Jacques on those soft tyres we want to watch from the start of the race. We've got Top Gun in 10th position, and his teammate managed to get the car onto pole. Chums in 8th, whose teammate Pantry got the car all the way up to 2nd position. So I haven't had any of your podium predictions yet. Let's get those in, and tell me if you think we'll avoid a safety car, or how many safety cars you think we will end up with, as impacts around this circuit tend to be big ones. 0-2 in 7th for Ferrari, with his teammate starting 4th, and then the 2 Red Bulls who lead the championship at the moment in the constructors, currently 5th and 6th. Umair will start in 3rd, the championship leader. Martin, championship challenger, in 2nd, will start 1st position, with Pantry Star in between them on the slightly less desirable side of the grid, you have to say. Yeah, affirm that AP mark, but if you join late, I think from during qualifying, I think the game selects your car for you. You don't have a lot of say in it unless someone has selected an AI car for you ahead of time. Martin, Pantry Star, Umair, Super D, Nick and Avalak, the top 6, and will be underway for you very shortly as you get a very nice up-front look at the tarmac surface. Come on now, let's have it. Let's have a decent camera angle going. And it's lights out and go away from the start. Looks like a difficult start from Martin and a lightning start from Super D, who's already managed to get himself up there into P1 potentially as he gets the inside line, claims the racetrack, and it's him away from Martin at the front, with Umair, Pantry Star dropping back to 4th position. I finally get myself a trackside camera I've been waiting for. The Red Bull of Nick is in the mix, as Arno has also picked up plenty of places. We see some really good strong starts as the rest of the field make their way through. It's Super D, Martin, Umair, Pantry Star, Nick, Arno, who up 3 places from the start, and a great early run then for the drivers. No major problems have befallen the drivers, but Jacques on the soft tyres is right at the back of the grid. Unbelievable. Chums is dropping down and now fighting with Buntiers in the background, but it is Super D, Martin, who will contest the front of this race down into turn 12. Let's see if we get any moves. We do get a 3-wide battle as Royal Viking down the inside is almost forced into a move on Chums. Chums battered out to the right hand side, and he'll try and hang on down the inside, but they just about sort themselves out on the way through, and we survive with 3 front wings intact going through that turn 13 where the concertina really takes effect. It's Super D, Martin and Umair away from the start, the first of 28 laps here around our circuit of the Americas. Puna says Super D, he told us. And Super D, of course, gets the automatic fastest lap on the first run. I have no idea what happened to my camera work there off the start. Couldn't really do anything about it. You saw me trying to get a good camera angle. That was really difficult, but never mind. We are strapped in and ready to see what the drivers do now for the next few laps before the first pit stops. Pit stop predictions would be useful for me. I think around lap 12. The medium runners will be running out of tyres and looking to get rid of them. Chums in 12th, Jacques in 13th. It's not gone to plan at all for them, as Nick is having some problems. Has Nick gone round? Yes, through the S's. Very easy to tag another driver or be tagged through there. So Nick down to 13th place, taking out one of the fastest drivers from qualifying there, down to the back of the grid, and the field has already split here. We've got a field of 2 halves. Super D, Martin, Umair down into turn 12, then Pantry, Arno, and we've got 0-2 and Avalak fighting, as Avalak trying to stay with this front group. And then the split in the pack happens after 0-2 and Avalak here, as they are about to tangle wheels. 0-2 selling the dummy to the outside, Avalak taking the racing line and hanging on. And then a little bit of a gap, then a 2.5 second gap to Top Gun, Viking, Buntiers, Chums, Jacques Slater and Nick. Arno is having a problem, it seems. Yeah, dropping down the order. So Alfa Romeo not having a good run of things in this early running for the race. 0-2. Looks like that Ferrari's got some speed tonight as he tries to use the slipstream. DRS will be enabled, but not on this straight at this current time. Royal Viking and Top Gun will go line astern into turn 2. Top Gun on top at the moment of this battle. So Super D with a nice early sprint away from the field. I wonder if he is spending some ERS to try and break the toe. He is spending a fair amount, but not a lot more than second place Martin. Umair being a little bit more circumspect with his deployment, as is Pantry Star, and they know that the race is not over in the first few laps, but you can easily hamper yourself for later on if you push too hard on the tyres away from the start. It's lap 3, it's Super D, Martin, Umair, Pantry Star and Avalak now getting away from 0-2. Looks like 0-2 having more than a little bit of difficulty going through turn 12 and down the back straight that time. Up near the front, the battle for third place here. This is Umair leading Pantry. Sparks fly on the very bumpy surface with the low running cars. Join Pantry on board as the DRS starts to get opened in front of him. That nullifies any slipstream effect he might have had. For me, my personal opinion, I don't think this circuit needs DRS at all. I think we could, this would be one of those circuits where the straights are long enough and the cars are engineered well enough now that you could just disabled DRS for this race and see if that would actually affect things, because we still get overtakes using the slipstream. Super D has had his lead cut slightly then from Martin, who's switching on now, starting to get aggressive on the tyres. It's lap 4. Let's see if Nick on the recovery, who's regained 4 places from his second lap incident going through the S's. He's obviously got some fantastic speed. The Royal Viking and Arno have probably helped him there by falling backwards. Arno has retired from the session on the entry or exit of turn 1. Will they get the car cleared in time? I wonder. That could be a big deal for us, as Nick showing himself to Top Gun, trying to action a move there. Pantry Star then next behind. Arno has been cleared from the racetrack. Thankfully, it looks like we will avoid the safety car intervention, virtual or real. Super D and Martin then getting away from Umair. Pantry Star will be 3/10 away with no DRS this time for Umair. So will he be able to get that slipstream? Umair deploying the ERS to get away from the Haas down this straight, but that will mean he'll have less battery to fight with on the run out of turn 11. So using the ERS to power away from the Haas, where he would have had DRS, but it's not close enough, as now Martin closes right in here through the S's. I don't know which of the drivers will be the first one to move for an overtake. Will it be Martin on Super D, Pantry Star and Umair, or potentially even Top Gun on Nick? We'll probably have to cycle through those drivers on the approach to turn 12. This is turn 11 then. Martin slipping back to over 4/10 behind Super D. As Super D will use that ERS, try and get away. Martin has good top speed. Has he got enough? Not quite. Pantry Star likewise on Umair, and down. It looks like Top Gun lost out hugely to Boonties there on the previous lap, on the previous sector as well. Is that 0-2 call? And Avalak continuing their battle. It looks that way. Side by side they go. Got Madtrav joining. Madtrav, you're a little bit late to the party tonight. As and the undercut getting offline is 0-2, and a neat little 340 spin with a slight adjustment. He's got the car back running. It's going to be tentative on those tyres for a little while yet, though. Just getting them back up to temperature, back down to temperature probably. Martin still very close with Super D using the DRS, but it's that gap opens up through sector 1. So the leaders then stretching that gap. Avalak kind of left for dead there in the middle of the middle of the order. And down they go. Into turn 11. What kind of exit can Pantry Star get? It's always that little bit worse than Umair's exits from these corners. This looks promising though for Pantry Stars. The gap is dropping to under 3/10. Straight just not quite long enough for him. Now that Umair has got the DRS on the car in front once again. Somehow or other Nick has ended up back down in 11th. So he might be able to make a move here. He's certainly close enough to Jacques. Jacques defends to the inside. Not much else he can do. But with that overspeed with the DRS, it's just easy. And Nick up to 10th then, once again. Here are your top 4 contenders for tonight's podium. Super D, Martin, Umair and Pantry Star. This is lap 7. So look out for the first of these drivers to decide to do the undercut in a few laps' time. I do believe that the overcut is relatively powerful though here. Depends which tyre you're putting on. Of course, all the top 8 will have to put on hard tyres on their stop. So we've lost Arno and we still have 12 runners left. 1/4 distance complete. And a penalty for Nick, who is having a very eventful race here tonight. Had higher hopes for Nick watching him through Q1 and 2, but the race doesn't seem to be working out smoothly. Both Umair and Pantry Star still very much in the hunt for this win tonight. We have a temporary problem there for Super D. Oh, Super D has gone wrong through the triple right-hander and has lost his lead. Has Pantry Star collected him as well? Lots of drama. Where's Pantry Star at the moment? Yeah, he's dropped down to 5th place, slipped behind Avalak as Super D has recovered to 3rd place and let the front 2 really get away from this one. Martin now in front of Umair, your top 2, and then a big gap to the drivers who have made mistakes. Super D and Pantry Star. I don't know if Pantry Star maybe caught Super D's accident. Seems like a pretty big coincidence if they both were dropping back at the same point. And now the gaps have really opened up, apart from here at the front of the grid. So is that a sign maybe that the outside left tyres are letting go already off the medium runners? Will they be hoping to pit on the sooner side? Got to be thinking about it. They don't want to be making those kind of mistakes or overestimating the amount of grip as they are turning right through the triple right-hander. It is absolutely burns through that front left. Despite the fact that the majority of corners on the circuit are left-handers, they tend to be slower or shorter corners, the left-handers. And away then we go to start lap 9 on board Martin and Umair. So Boonty, is he having some drama as well? He is having some drama, trying to stay out of everybody's way. That was another mistake in the 3rd sector, this time from Boonty. And Pantry Star, keen to make amends for that error, it's caught right back up quickly to behind Avalak. I'll be hoping to pounce on the Red Bull. Martin leads Umer. Super D in third on his own. Avalak some 3.5 behind him, and then Pantry Star, as you can see on screen, super close here to Avalak on the same tyre. It's looking a lot better for Pantry Star as he's kept within that crucial 0.3 of a second. Should get that overtake done nice and quickly. And there we have it. Through before the braking zone. That's where you want to get it done. Although it does not help with the drama. It's quite a dull way to overtake, isn't it? We've got a nice three-way going on here as Top Gun looking for the inside line against Boutniers. Looks like Boutniers went on the outside though of Top Gun. Nick Gishin trying to get in the middle of this one. So a nice three-way battle for P7 led by Boutniers with Top Gun in the middle and Chums chasing up behind Nick as well. Still the drivers avoid the pit lane and Martin has dropped Umer massively in this last lap, so that seems more to me as if it's a mistake by Umer. He's lost about 3 seconds in a lap there. Again, another indication that those mediums being used a lot quicker, perhaps, than the drivers were anticipating. Eagle-eared among you. I don't know if you can be an eagle-eared. What would you be? Bat-eared? Yeah, bat-eared among you would have heard me mention that tyre usage does seem a little bit aggressive here relative to drivers who are doing their homework. But oh, Nick, not ideal. I think he's suffering a bit of lag, or Top Gun is in front and he rammed the back of Top Gun. Thankfully no accident, but you can't get too close through the S's. You've just got to try and keep your safe distance as much as possible, as tempting as it is to get super close to the driver in front. Trying to get away then and stick in behind Top Gun. I think he'll get him here as they go to crest over that back straight. Has to get it done on the brakes. You can see the car just twitching around on the brakes there. Maybe we will start to see some pit stops shortly. Oh, here comes Top Gun looking back, but Boutniers has got Nick has got the inside line. He has very much got the better run here. Can hold the inside as they head through the triple right-hander and completes the move, Nick, into 8th position. Boutniers getting away slightly at the front, and the drivers all going through to cross the line for their 10th lap. Is that an indication? Yeah, Top Gun on the way into the pits then. The first of the planned pit stops at the end of lap 10 for Top Gun, I believe, yeah. Is that the end of lap? It looked like the end of lap 9, but I think it's the end of lap 10 for Top Gun. A change of front wing, despite the fact that he was run into from behind on our screen. Martin leads then from Umer, 4.3 seconds, looking quite straightforward for Martin, and some big gaps between first and 6th each. Just 0.2, getting quite close now to the back of Avalak. Almost within the DRS range. But look out for those pit stops starting. Top Gun has come out of the pits, but he's behind Royal Viking, just ahead of Jacques Slater. Gone onto the hard tyres, as you would expect. So very conventional medium to hard strategy so far for Top Gun. Remember, he was fighting with Nick and Boutniers, so any progress relative to those guys will indicate an undercut. Although I'm tempted to suggest that it's the overcut that is more powerful here. Martin and Umer are avoiding the pit lane this time out, as is Super D, Pantry Star, Avalak and 0.2. For every lap that the drivers following another driver don't do the opposite, the chance of doing that reduces, of course, down to virtually 0 by the time they get there. Car's looking glorious in this late afternoon sunshine. Some tyre pickup happening on the back of 02's car. He's trying to get close enough to Avalak to ping that DRS, but he's not quite there. 12 could be the target lap for the drivers. Got a yellow flag in sector 2. That was only very temporary, so no threat of a safety car just yet. We've got Super D and Pantry Star very, very close to one another here. I think Pantry Star may have made a mistake. Again, no pit stops coming just yet. Let's see these two. Oh, Pantry Star does peel across to enter the pits, I think. Yes, in he comes. Super D deciding to do the opposite. Avalak pitting at the end of lap 12 for him. So pit stops, Pantry Star, Avalak on their way in at the moment. Nick still the only penalty on the track, with pit stops for Nick, Royal Viking, Top Gun and Jacques, and of course our retirement for Arnaud. The major highlights so far of the race. Avalak treading very, very carefully now. Out of turn 1. Up at the front, Martin still holding on to that 4-second lead from Umer. Top Gun may be able to get some DRS if he can get through the S's cleanly here. No one on the soft tyres now, everybody hard or medium. Top Gun was the first to pit and is going for the biggest possible undercut. But can he manage the tyres to the end of the race? That's the big question. Martin now pits. Umer decides not to. No, Umer has decided to pit on the same lap as Martin. So, interesting. What will the Ferraris do? Well, it's Super D in, 02 stays out. He would be forced to queue if he had pitted. So, yeah, appropriately enough, staying out. I don't think anybody else is close enough to a teammate for that to be a factor. So, those are your gaps at the moment. Here is Top Gun, having got a huge gain on Royal Viking on the previous run. Much younger, hard tyres on board Top Gun. That advantage diminishing with every lap. I assume that Top Gun, with that amount of extra grip and DRS now, should be able to blast by the Aston Martin. Draws level as they head towards the braking zone of turn 1. And that looked fairly routine for Top Gun, now up to 10th position. So Pantry Star in P7, chasing down Super D at the moment. Both of them have pitted. Super D has stayed ahead, but Pantry Star with the DRS tries to find the inside move. Super D opened the door, then closed it again. Running, owning the line through the corner. Pantry Star, not much he could do sitting on the outside there, but there was a gap on the inside he could have used had he been willing to risk it. Would have to have trusted that Pantry didn't make a second move. 02 in the pits then, and Martin will comfortably retake the lead of the race. Top Gun with that first pit stop, but he's just too far away from everybody else to make the undercut factor for him. Boonty is in the pits, so is 02, and there goes Pantry passing around the outside. Whoa, that was close. 0-2 trying to claim the corner. Pantry Star just with too much grip and minimum speed through the corner, managed to go the long way around the outside. Stylishly done there from the Haas driver. And our new order, after nearly all the pit stops are complete: Martin, Umer, Chums has yet to pit. Then comes Super D, Pantry, 0-2, Avalak, Nick Gishin, Bootyear's Top Gun, Royal Viking and Jacques. Chums has gained places here and could really gain from either a safety car now or the field spread as the race gets older and older. Just check in with places gained as we wait for everyone to condense once again. It is 1 up for Umer, 5 up for Chums so far. Yet to pit though. Bootney is up 4 places. Those are your position change highlights so far, as Pantry Star has a purple second sector. So does Chums decide to run those hard tyres as far and as deep as possible, with the option maybe of taking advantage of a safety car or even keeping them on until you can use the softs at the end. All depends how his tyre wear is looking. Super D with the fastest lap, 37.9. Some drivers weren't getting that time in qualifying. It's Avalak on the back of 0-2 now. 1 lap older hard tyres. Shouldn't be too different at this stage. Martin's lead now 5 seconds. Umer's gap to Chums 6.8. And Super D a further 1.9 behind. Then we've got some battles developing. Pantry on Super D. Avalak on 0-2 just behind them. Looks like Chums' speed is definitely suffering at the moment. Seems to be losing a large amount of lap time to the much younger tyre drivers. At this stage we've got Pantry Star here in 5th place, within the only car within DRS of another. Martin posts a 1:37.6 on his 3rd lap on the hard tyres. There goes Chums into the pits then. That's almost certainly going to be a medium tyre selection for him, dropping down to 7th place. Make that 8th now. 9th. But maybe he will come out in between Boonies and Top Gun on a faster tyre. So can Martin keep the focus, keep the consistency to a level where he can secure the win here? Umer has managed to bring himself into 2nd position, which is good for his championship hopes. Super D, Pantry and 0. They will be an interesting development here, with Avalak just behind them. And Nick bringing himself back into contention here after a difficult first phase of the race is on the back of his teammate. Well, Viking picks up a 3-second penalty, the 2nd such penalty of the night. Just himself and Nick who currently have additional time added to their races. So with just about 10 laps to go, Martin leads Umer. Then this 3-way Ferrari engine car battle, Super D, Pantry and 0-2. And the 2 Red Bulls 6th and 7th. But Boonies maybe with a look here on the back of the Red Bull of Nick. Bunyan should be picking up points for Williams, we believe. Just late to the party tonight. Really strong race so far from everybody as Jacques picks up a penalty. Only 3 penalties. Penalised drivers on the grid at the moment. Keep an eye on Chum's gap there. That's 8th to 9th is 6.8 seconds. I imagine Chums will have some pace in hand now in this final third of the race. Bunyan is not really able to gain at this point, but we have again this 3-way situation between Super D, Pantry and 02. Wonder to what degree the 2 Ferrari drivers will be able to coordinate here. I don't imagine there's much they can do. So Martin, 4.9 seconds, just holding the gap at around 5. As Nick picks up another penalty now, so I think that leaves him on 6. It does. Royal Viking and Jacques on 3 each. Nick's eventful race continues. So lap 19 of 28. We have obviously single stops for everybody. I do think we'll see another stop for someone because they started on the soft tyres. Was that wasn't Chums, was it? That's right. No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't Chums who started on those. I think it was Boonty's, was it? Or potentially Royal Viking, who has done far more laps on the hard tyre than anybody else. So we may end up with a few more stops by the end of this one. Umer and Super D up a place each. Pantry Star down 2 after that issue he had. Then 02 up 2 places. Avalak exactly where he started. The only driver with Top Gun who haven't really moved from their starting position. Found their quali pace relative to the others, and that's about where they're stuck. Martin, though, with a 3-second penalty. He's got 5.3 in hand, so 2.4 seconds now in hand from the driver behind Umer, but Umer might switch on now and think that that's an invitation. Chums a 36.9 sets a new fastest lap. He's on fresh tyres. We have 8 laps to go. That's it, AP Mark, thanks for that. It was Jacques who started on soft, so he will stop again, but I don't think he's going to factor into the race. Some 17 seconds off the back of Royal Viking, but the top 10 will be looking to try and bring this one home today for some points. Car number 69 for Pantry, who is racing the Haas around their home circuit. We'll have a quick spy, shall we, at everybody's telemetry usage so far. Pantry start in the mid to early teens, as is the 2 other drivers around him. How's Umar doing? 46% on Umer, and Martin has drained the battery down to under 10%. Avalak with 50% remaining has been managing that usage very, very well at this point. So with 7 to go, Martin leads Umair, but only by 3.2 seconds. That gap has opened up a little bit. He's just giving himself an extra little buffer in case he gets more warnings on the circuit. Then Super D, Pantry Star 0-2 locked together around the 1 second mark here each. Royal Viking picks up another penalty. Then comes Avalak and Nick in 6th and 7th. Boonty is in 8th. Has fallen off the back of the chase that he was trying to complete on Nick. Nick having found some pace now. And Chum's gap to Boonty is now at 5.6 seconds. And he's on the fresher mediums. Top Gun rounds out the top 10 at the moment with Royal Viking a short distance behind him. Then a fairly long gap to Jacques Slater, with Arno our only retirement so far. But I do think the last few laps will see drivers start to make mistakes through the more difficult corners around the circuit. .5, 6.7 seconds, the gap at the front. Martin definitely turning the screw now that he knows he's not on the edge of a new 3-second penalty award. He's probably got a warning or two still in hand for that. So he can drive with a little bit more aggression than he was doing previously. ERS light flashing on the back of 0-2, so whatever he has underneath him, he's going to have to use the DRS only. Looks like he's shaping now to start his attack, which I think we'll all appreciate. Any Haas or Pantry Star fans out there, my apologies, but could definitely do with some overtakes, and it's actually Pantry Star makes another mistake in the famous triple right-hander. That was Pantry Star with a big wiggle on in the corner. Let me just remind myself of the tyre usage. He is on 9-lap-old hard tyres. It's well ahead of their sell-by date, so I think just a simple focus error there for Pantry Star. Maybe just got himself slightly onto the marbles and loses his place. It's now Ferrari 3-4. And Pantry Star losing down into P5 with his second significant mistake of the race so far. He did have some tremendous speed through qualifying and through the early parts of the race, but unfortunately for Pantry Star, 2 mistakes now, and that is him. You might say that was an unforced error. There was a car quite close behind him, and Fahim says let's hope everybody has enough fuel. Indeed, that is a factor. The drivers might have underfueled. It would be a fool's game to underfuel the car, I think, but some people still do it, banking on a safety car. So indeed, that is a thing to watch out for. Will drivers start to lift and coast to save the fuel if they can? Sometimes, if I've had a particularly eagle-eyed co-commentator, they've been able to see fuel lights come on the cars on their dashboards, but it's beyond my vision abilities. So Avalak stays ahead of Nick. Nick's really closing in now. He fancies a swap round of the Red Bulls. I don't know that Avalak will be open to listening to that at this point. He might just be saving his tyres, but you fancy Nick. An ultimate pace on this circuit tonight has got a little bit more underneath him than Avalak, and the fact that he's got virtually 0 ERS remaining as well would lend support to that argument. Here he goes then, he's got the DRS on his teammate. Will Avalak defend? No, he's just going to let that happen. Not much that Avalak can do about it. And Nick gets down into the apex comfortably. And through then, Nick up to P6, Avalak down to P7. No change for the team points award, of course. And Pantry Star driving now with a little bit of anger, you've got to imagine. behind 0-2 is closing that gap once again. We have 4 to go, folks. Albanian Smokey says still trying to join the league. We've got several people in the live chat who are part of the league who might be able to give you a Discord invite in the live chat. Should be one on the channel, I would hope. So if you can't find that, have a look on the channel about page. You might be able to get hold of one. I know they're not particularly big on Discord on Twitter, but they do have a strong Discord community. You might be able to find them even on gridfinder.com as well. There's Arno, who's decided to leave the session. But Smokey, if you can't find anybody else to send you a link, follow me on Twitter and send me a message. I'll get you an invite. Just remind me what you're looking for. I'm sure we'd be happy to have you join us. If you've got what it takes, of course, you'll probably have to do some sort of evaluation race, unless you're happy to join straight in D3. So once again, those gaps open out, and Nick has absolutely put the distance on Avalak. Really interesting. See how the car is handling for Martin on 11 lap old hard tyres. My Twitter handle, Smokey, at Webo Red 5, WEBBORED 5. Just building the speed then. That all looks fairly straightforward for Martin. No major drama on the car. Looks to be okay. As 0-2 now starts to get a little bit of extra speed to his teammate Super D. This will be a battle for the podium. I don't imagine Super D will be feeling particularly generous to his teammate to give up a podium here tonight after a very hard-fought race that he's had. And again, we focus on these 3 drivers, the 2 Ferraris and the Haas of Pantry Start, as they're doing their level best to entertain us tonight. Boonties is rapidly approaching the back of Avalak, who, despite the fact that Avalak had a lot of ERS remaining, does appear to be dropping off. He pitted fairly early on, just 1 lap after Top Gun, but still, as I say, way ahead of schedule for a drop-off of grip levels on the hard tyre. Should comfortably make the end, those hard tyres, as they did almost half distance on the mediums at the start of the race. And now, of course, the car much lighter on fuel. Full 0-2. Let's Pantry Star go. That looked almost deliberate, but maybe not, as he comes to battle back. Yeah, that was that was trying to, a little bit clumsy between the 2 of them, not quite leaving enough space either the side of the circuit. Looked like 0-2 playing a little bit of a DRS strategy game with Pantry Star. Pantry Star accepting the place given. 0-2 trying to come back at him, and they just couldn't work out which piece of track they each had dominance over, and made a little bit of contact on the approach to turn 12. Thankfully, though, no major harm done, and they will continue this fight into the penultimate lap now, as they start that lap 27. Zero-2 will not have to be playing games with Pantry Star anymore. He's running out of opportunities to get that place back, and Super D will be somewhat relieved that he doesn't have that headache of his teammate behind him anymore. Martin continues to lead there by 4.4 seconds, but -3 from that, and that becomes 1.4 seconds. So I think Umer is starting to try and catch here, as it looks like Martin will be coming up to lap his first car of the evening. That's Jacques Slater. Royal Viking in the pits now. That's the ERS light flashing on the back of the Haas. The 02 call will get alongside, going down into turn 12. Well, it's already done and dusted pretty much. Maybe slightly late on the brakes. Will there be a switch back from Pantry Star? No, he was nowhere near enough to have a go. This time, let's have a look back at Boontiers and Avalac to see if this will be an attempt. Looks like Boontiers just slightly too far behind to action it, and we're about to start the final lap. On board the leader, Martin, who is now down to 3.7 seconds, so keep your eyes glued to that gap between himself and Umer as Nick slips up going through turn 13 and Avalac and Boontiers slip on through. It's Martin only 3.8 or 0.8 seconds away from Umer. What kind of a final lap is Umer going to try and pull out here? As Martin seemingly having some difficulty getting through the traffic there as he tries to lap. Let's see Umer getting the gap down now to 0.6 of a second. The chase is on. I don't know that he'll get DRS. I don't think he will get DRS on the back of the lapped vehicle of Jacques. The gap down now to put 3.5 seconds. Umer needs a monster of the final lap, final sector, or Martin to make a mistake. It looks like it's going to be very, very close as we head towards the very end of this race. Here comes Martin then, heading through the difficult triple right-hander. No dramas for him. 2 corners to go. 0.7 of a second now for Umer, who has the difficulty of lapping Jacques. And it is going to be Martin who crosses the line to win once again in Division 2. Martin takes home the top trophy in Austin, Texas, and completes round 4 with a win, taking a step towards his rival Umer in the championship, who secures second with Super D. Super D rounding the final corner and scoring third place. His teammate in the Ferrari P4 with Pantry in 5th. Chums in 6th. Will Chums finish this one out? It looks like what has been going on with Boontiers dropping back. Is that a fuel issue for Boontiers even? Maybe Fahim was correct there. Pantry in 5th, Chums in at 6th. Nick gets back past Avalac. And I wonder, Avalac's missing a front wing, so Boontiers and Avalac must have come together as Boontiers crosses the line in P9. That will not please Avalac to have that issue, though he leapfrogged his teammate after penalties. Top Gun should be rounding the final corner about now to secure 10th place. The only one left to cross the line will be Royal Viking, but it's Martin who takes home the win tonight. Tremendous stuff. Good quality driving from a number of drivers. Only a very few minor mistakes then from everybody. And good to see the Osman fan club congratulating Martin. I will see if Martin shows up in the press conference, but if not, my voice hasn't got much left in it tonight, so we will. I'll hang on for a minute or two. Get your questions ready. Boontiers picks up driver of the day. That might be under some argument after contact. Needs to be sorted out post race with the stewards. Avalac and Boontiers obviously coming together there in the final lap. And here comes Martin then. Black race suit for the Petronas Mercedes AMG team. And he's steering his way to the podium. He won't get lost that way, but he will fall foul of Part Ferme rules for not leaving the steering wheel in the car. Lifts the trophy way up high. Of course, the rainbow flag of South Africa on top. There's the familiar sets of triplets in the race team cheering on. And champagne time for everybody. And champagne held aloft. Tremendous stuff. Good to see. fair and hard-fought race from everybody. It's good to see a different driver on top as well. Martin wins with a 46-minute 24-second race time. Fastest lap went to Chums though, so no maximum points for Martin. Umer in second, Super D in third. We've got 0-2 Call, Pantry Star in fifth. Chums in sixth with the fastest lap, getting that extra point. Then comes Avalak, Nick Boontiers, Top Gun in 10th place, takes home the final point of proceedings. And Royal Viking in 11th. Jacques was lapped but finished the race in 12th. And unfortunately, that was Arno that left us. Hopefully, we'll have some more drivers for you next week. I say I'll hang on for a minute or two. I'll give you any highlights from the driver chat. We've had Umer touch in already and congratulate Martin. Martin asks, will there be a podium interview? And I'll just tell him. But yeah, thanks for everybody for all your comments and engagement. Thanks for liking the video and keeping me entertained through everything. There's a dodgy set of pink. What have we got there? Pink cycle shorts on board one of the drivers in the in the post race. We are very pleased to welcome Martin, who is joining the post race interviews. Martin, congratulations. That looked like you had it pretty much all your own way throughout. You looked like you were managing the gap. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, hello, thanks. Yeah, no, it was a tough race, definitely. Luckily, I didn't spin in the sector 3 where Super D and Umer spun. But no, but Umer was getting close at the end of the race.
Yes.
I was definitely a little bit nervous, but yeah, luckily I won the race. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Any difficult moments for you out there tonight?
No, not really. No, I've practiced quite a lot for this race, so I wasn't really struggling.
Excellent. Yeah, look, the practice showed. I think showed that you were you knew what you were doing out there. Qualifying looked pretty mega as well. Very happy, I'm sure, with that final lap in Q3.
Yeah, I don't know where the pace came from in qualifying, because Umer has been strong in qualifying the whole season, and you know, by a couple of tenths sometimes. So yeah, I was really happy with that last lap.
Yeah, tremendous stuff. Well, a great performance. Is that your first win of the season, or is it your second now?
Second. Singapore was the first. Yeah.
Tremendous. So you are definitely going to be taking a little bit of a jump towards Umer in the championship.
Yeah.
What do you think? Can you take this all the way?
Well, I'm going to try my best. Consistency wasn't my strongest point last season, but yeah, I can work on it, and hopefully I'll give him a good fight.
Tremendous stuff. Well, congratulations, Martin. Good to talk to you, and great to watch your race as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, everybody. Well, it was great to talk to Martin there. I won't hang on much more for anybody else. As I say, my voice is about to go, but take care, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's racing. I hope you are subscribed to the channel, and you'll make sure that you watch the rest of the races on the channel. But from me, Webbo, and from everybody here in Division 2, we will catch you on the next race day.